Welcome to the Board Game Bar, where we make drinks that pair with the games on your table. Today we're going to be making the Fractured Mind, a drink to go with the game Scattered Nexus, a Kickstarter release that is currently on Kickstarter right now. So let's just jump into it.
Alright, let's get into making the Fractured Mind. So there's a lot of ingredients in this one, so it's very simple, but there's just a lot going on. So when I first started making it, it was going to be 2 parts, not going to be layered, it was going to look cool, it didn't work. But the drink actually tasted okay, so here we go. So we're starting with Spiced Rum, we're just doing 1 shot of that. So this is a very classic sort of tiki style flavors and drinks. If that's the sort of drink you like, you'll probably like this drink. Next we're going to go Malibu or any coconut rum. Again, Malibu, cheap. You're mixing a lot of stuff in here, so if your stuff's not the highest quality, that's absolutely fine. And get a shot of that. Next, we're going to get into some syrup. So we're going to get Grenadine. This is a pomegranate syrup, quite popular, pretty well known, used in a lot of tiki drinks. So we're going to go 15 mils of that. Try not to spill it because it stains everything. Next, we're going to grab our Orgeat. This is an almond syrup. We're going to go with 15 mils of this as well. It's going to add sort of a earthy nuttiness sort of flavour to it. Mix that in. Alright, that's half our ingredients in. I said this was a lot, so we're going along. Next, we're going to get some lime juice. We're going to do, again, we use the pouch stuff here because it's easy for us to access. If you've got fresh lime juice, use it. 15 mils of that. Using it after the syrup, so it will sort of help clean out some of that excess syrup left in the jigger. Next, here's where it gets a little funky. We're gonna get some red wine. If you don't have red wine, I don't know, it's wine. There's not a lot that'll really sort of substitute for this. It's a bit painful to open a bottle just to use a shot of it. So I'd say this is a great one if you're making something for a lot of people, or if you're happy to drink the rest of your bottle of wine. So we're going to go with 1 shot of our red wine. We're using Penfolds, classic Australian red wine. We're going to get some orange juice. We're going to do 1 shot of that as well. And then we're going to finish it off with some Angostura bitters. So this is just sort of, bitters is kind of like the seasoning for your cocktails. So it's just sort of going to help add and enhance the other flavors in there. So we're just going to give that a couple dashes in. And that is everything we need. Just going to move all this over a little bit. This one, you've got a lot of stuff in here and you've got a lot of sort of thick syrup, so you're going to want to shake this one just to help make sure they all get nice and combined. So once that's done, you'll see there we've got this beautiful purple colour. So we've got our glass full of ice. That's going to be, 1, keep the drink cool, keep it sort of like light and refreshing, but it's also so that our garnish sits at the top of the drink. So we'll see that in a moment. So I'll pour that in, see that beautiful colour come in. Picked a great glass for this because it fits really nice. And then for our garnish, we're going to get some orange slices and just sort of place them in, and the ice will just sort of hold them up near the top. And a sprig of mint would be great here if you've got it, but we have rosemary and it's got the cute little flowers on it at the moment, so that's what we're using. And we're just going to sort of slot that in behind here just to make the drink look nice and pretty. And there we have the Fractured Mind.
So here we have the Fractured Mind. So what should I be expecting within this?
A lot of fruity, tiki flavors that go typically well with rum. It's real light, easy drinking. The sort of stuff you want to be sipping on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a light drink.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot, obviously there's a lot of ingredients there, there's a lot of flavors there. But it doesn't, there's not one that really overpowers.
No.
Surprisingly, the Orgeat does come through, but not in a bad way.
No.
It gives it that nice, subtle kind of nuttiness there.
And I think the Grenadine sort of comes through, the wine actually gives it like a nice sort of tartness to the end.
Yep.
We also tried it with pineapple juice, didn't mesh as well. So, little subtle differences, but...
Yeah, I think the orange and the coconut really kind of play well together. And which is weird, because pineapple and coconut do really
Pina
play
colada,
well.
it's classic.
Yeah, but I think within this drink, when we're adding all the other flavours, that if two flavours are pairing too well together, then they kind of exclude everything else. Because the pineapple and the coconut really pair well together, it like excludes them. It's like everything else becomes the friend off to the side, whereas orange juice and coconut kind of have that little bit of separation to them.
And I think the grenadine actually helps bring them together. I think the grenadine and pineapple didn't work so well. In the context of this drink at least, I'm sure there's ways to make them work. Tasting it now, you probably could leave the wine out if you really didn't want to open a bottle or didn't have it. But I think without testing it, it's hard to really tell.
Yeah, I quite like having that wine in there because that kind of...
You get a bit of the tannin.
The tannin at the end actually makes this... It doesn't... I would not drink this and associate it completely with a tiki drink.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of almost separated from a tiki drink because the wine's there. If you didn't have the wine there, then it would just be
It's all classic tiki ingredient.
Yeah, it's all classic tiki. And for Scattered Nexus, that kind of, we were trying to make something that really kind of took you on a different journey to what you'd expect, because Scattered Nexus is a game about, fractures in time, space, kind of, different worlds colliding and fracturing the space. You make decks based on different indie card games, make decks based on different indie comics, and the 3 decks that you actually, or the 3 comics that you bring into the deck, then kind of form your gameplay. So I think this is actually kind of that good mix of really getting that kind of playthrough. It's probably the game is quite quick because it's a 20-minute game.
Yeah.
So I think that you probably end up drinking 1 to maybe 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
But because it's
again, it depends how quickly you want to drink. It is on ice, so it is going to sort of water down a bit if you leave it for an hour.
Yeah.
But again, it's got enough sort of like sweetness to it that it can probably, it'll deal with losing a bit of dilution. The more ice you can put into the glass, the better your garnish will stay if you choose to do that, and then it'll also help the ice actually melt slower and help the drink last a bit longer. It's a bit counterintuitive, but
yeah. So that is the Fractured Mind, a drink to go with Scattered Nexus. We actually play these games live on Twitch and we upload them as videos on demand to YouTube. We have social media links down in the bottom corner, and we have our app at app.gamesnight.fun, where you can join in conversations, track your games, and just generally have fun with board games. Thanks for joining us in this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
thanks, Craig.